Hey everybody, life treating you good. This is B from 1B Games and welcome to the first ever video on the second channel. Today's video, as you can tell by the thumbnail, which isn't actually on the screen anymore, you saw it before you clicked on the video, we are talking about a show that used to be, it's a Kids WB, before it got transferred over to Cartoon Network. Mucha Lucha, or Mucha Lucha Gigante. But it's not exactly the show, it's something that was based off the show, the video game Mucha Lucha, Mascaritas of the Lost Code. Now, some of you may have been thinking that this video was going to be the Courage the Cowardly Dog video, but you're going to have to hold off on that for a bit. I'm sorry, I want to, very quick, I just want to apologize for that video not coming out when it was supposed to, and then me not actually working on it at all. I don't know, I wanted to work on it, I started working on it a bit, then I realized how hard it is to really talk about a show like that. Well, it's not that it's hard, it's just that writing a script is so difficult, especially when you don't know how to make one. And coming from me, a guy who makes gaming videos on YouTube, it's gonna take a bit. So for now, I think this will suffice, hopefully. And the next video we do on this channel will definitely be the Courage the Cowardly Dog video. I just kind of want to start off with this because I've been thinking about doing a video on this game for a while, and I decided to start playing it last week, and I recorded the whole thing. Was it last week? No, this week, sorry. I think it was on the weekend. One of these days this week. I just recorded the whole thing, played through it, and you're gonna hear my thoughts of what I think about this game. It was made by Ubisoft. Go figure. Before we talk about this game though, I want to talk about the show, but in brief detail. Now, I'm not gonna go too in-depth in it because that's gonna be saved for another video eventually. Don't know when. It might be the 4th or 5th, we'll see. But I want to at least give you guys a quick synopsis, you know, for those who have never seen the show before, or have never even heard of the show. For those who have, just be a quick refresher before we actually hop into the game. So let's start. Mucha Lucha, later known as Mucha Lucha Gigante, is an American-Mexican-Canadian animated television series that premiered on Kids WB on August 17, 2002. It was created by Eddie Mort and Lily Chin and produced by Warner Brothers Animation. Now, when a show is produced by Warner Brothers Animation, you know it's going to be a good show, right? Right? The show follows the three main characters.
Ricochet! Lucharan! The Flea!
You got the flea.
Buena girl!
It's all bueno.
Follows them through their daily lives, whether it be at home, at each other's houses, at slamming donuts, or a fourth thing, or
It's the foremost world-renowned international school of Lucha!
and why do they have that long of a name for their school? I don't know. It is here where they learn the ways of being a luchador, hence the name Mucha Lucha and the school Lucha. So that was a really quick synopsis about the show. I literally wanted to keep it as small as possible because I want to talk about the show later on. So how about we transition to the point of this video, which is the game that was based off the show Mucha Lucha. Mucha Lucha, Mascaritas of the Lost Code. That intro music though. You could just feel the Mucha Lucha-ness oozing from this game. Sublime. Oh, so wonderful. The plot of the game is simple. The code of mass wrestling has been stolen from the foremost world-renowned international school of Lucha. And it is up to the last tres Mascaritas, which is of course Ricochet, the Flea, and Buena Girl, to get it back or they risk expulsion. Now, I think that's overdoing it a bit. However, since it is the Code of Mass Wrestling, the most prestigious book of wrestling ever created that has all the rules of being a luchador, I guess it makes sense that the stakes are that high. That, and it seems like the headmistress does have it out for them. Could be wrong though. Seems that way. Now let's jump back a bit to the character selection screen. You have a choice between Ricochet, Buena Girl, or the Flea. But your only option at the beginning is Ricochet. It's like how in every Sonic game that is in Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, any game that has Sonic as the only playable character, or Big Fishing Adventure, you can only choose Sonic at the beginning. Now according to this logic, Ricochet is the most important character in the series. He is, but I like Buena Girl more overall. Sorry, Ricochet. You have the option to switch between characters on the fly in the pause menu, which I appreciate, but once again, until you unlock Buena Girl, Ricochet is the only one you can play as. Gameplay wise, it's your standard beat 'em up. You can punch, kick, jump kick, and you can perform signature moves. And that's cool and all, but where's the grab attacks? This game is based off of a cartoon about Lucha Libre. Where are the Hurricane Ranas, Top Conhilos, moonsaults, springboard dives, German suplexes, power bombs, clotheslines, tables, ladders, chairs, money in the bank briefcases, championships, announcer tables, Magical, GBA, King Ross, John O'Clock, mother. This took a sharp turn towards WWE and woke culture real quick. My point is, there are no wrestling maneuvers in this game, literally at all. At least from what I've seen. I don't count the signatures as wrestling maneuvers because those maneuvers are over the top. But I know wrestling can be, but that's no. No. I think I'm expecting too much from a licensed game about a cartoon show about kids that are learning the art of Lucha Libre. Yeah. Also, the stages are timed, but there is no timer to tell you how long you have been in each stage. And you are graded on the amount of time you take, and in order to progress to the next stage, you have to get a passing grade. Okay, I understand the grading because of them being in school and all, but why don't you have a timer at the top of the screen? Was it too much work to implement a timer so that I wouldn't be pissed off when I got to the end of the stage, only to realize I failed and I had to restart the entire stage again? Where are the Hurricane? When it comes to signature moves, each character has one at their disposal. Yeah, first, Ricochet's signature move is his
Ricochet's pulverizing pinball!
He also gets Mirror Mirror. I don't know how to equip it. Buena Girl gets her
Buena Bulldozer of Truth!
Her other signature move that you can unlock is the Torch of Truth, which once again, I have no idea how to equip. As for the Flea, well, as soon as I beat the game, I unlocked him, but I didn't want to play the game anymore, so I didn't play as him. Apparently his signature move is
The Blazing Turkey of Glory!
and I'm assuming his secret one that you unlock somehow is the Trash Can of Terror. In games like this, you would expect to see power-ups or health items in the stages, and you would be correct in expecting to see them. For health, we have donuts from the Flea's parents' restaurant, Slammin' Donuts, that are scattered on the ground. Now I don't know about you, but I wouldn't eat any of those off the floor, no matter how good they taste. The power of ham powers up your punches, so you could deal more damage that way, but only for a few seconds. But ham? Why ham of all items? How does ham increase damage given to enemies in any way, shape, or form? Drumsticks increases damage done by kicking. Again, why does food increase damage done? Food should heal you! Wait, this is a licensed game published by Ubisoft. Of course it makes perfect sense! No, it doesn't actually. It makes no sense whatsoever. Blue exclamation marks refill your signature move bar to full, and they like to place them in areas where they would like you to use their signature. Like when there are multiple enemies on screen at the same time, or when you're about to fight the mini-boss, which can happen in the middle or at the end of the stage. There is another item, which is a +1 that gives you an extra life, which can be handy at times. Also, there are secret areas that hold some power-ups, and enemies to fight as well, because you can't have free power-ups for going out of your way to find a secret without fighting some opposition before you can collect them. That was a stupid joke. You know, I'm giving Ubisoft a lot of crap over this, but they weren't even the ones who developed the game. This game was made by Digital Eclipse, the same people who made Spider-Man 1 and 2 for the Game Boy Advance. Now those games I enjoyed so much, so knowing that they made this just makes me want to cry. Time to talk about the types of enemies in the game. Episode 1 has us start off in the school where we get lectured by the headmistress, and the first enemies you see are Private Reinhardt and El Gundamo. Now Reinhardt is a military themed wrestler who wears a gas mask. His name is a play on the name Private Ryan and the expression Ironheart. As for El Gundamo, he is inspired by Japanese wrestler Jushin Thunder Liger. I'm pretty sure this isn't the only wrestler inspired by a real-life wrestler, but this is the first time I researched the character, so this is freaking cool. Jushin, I just wanted to apologize on behalf of Digital Eclipse and Ubisoft for putting a character that was inspired by you in this awful, terrible game. They did you wrong, man. They did you wrong. The first mini-boss you fight is Prima Donna Hodges. What a name. No offense, but if she didn't have the skirt on, she would totally pass as a dude. Please don't get triggered. She's from the Harry Knuckles Academy, which is pretty much the opposite of the foremost world-renowned international school of Lucha, as they do not wear masks and they go against the code of mask wrestling. Prima is the leader of the 3 most known students from the school, who just so happens to be the mini-bosses in the different stages. The main boss of episode 1 is none other than Potato Potata Jr. Let me tell you right now, these boss fights and even some of the mini boss fights can be easy if you cheese the frick out of the attack buttons. All you have to do is get them in the corner and start mashing your attacks. It's like Dragon Ball Z Sagas, where you can stun like your enemies and they get pushed back. Except unlike Sagas, you can keep them against the wall or ropes and keep attacking them. They may get a few hits in, but you'll still whip their asses. And we unlocked Mirror, but I still have no idea how to equip it. Episode 2 takes you into Ricochet's backpack after Senor Hasbina, his name's a play on the word of has-been, reminds us of what the headmistress said, and the enemies you fight are his backpack. What? No. Do not question licensed games, Pete. Stop. Do not pass go. Give the hand to the $200 because that money ain't real, player. The backpack comes in 2 forms, one with a club and one with a spear. Here you take on Carlton Cole Jones as the mini-boss. You could tell this man is stupid as hell. No offense to him, but he's all brawn, no brains. I bet Vince McMahon would love to have him in the WWE, since he loves having wrestlers that look as strong, if not stronger than him. The boss of episode 2 is this blue creature that I think Ricochet fought once in this series. I can't remember if it was when they went to Tokyo or not, but he can be put down the same fashion PPJ, that's all I'm gonna call him, Potato Potata Jr., was put down. Hey, we are like buena girl! It's all buena. Episode 3 has us go to Gerbil Jorge's Masked World of Lucha Fun and Wrestletainment. After Buena Girl poses that as an idea. Okay, first off, Wrestletainment? Really? Second off, what the hell is with these long ass names? It's actually the most annoying thing to say these names. I don't even remember them going to this Smash World place in the show. But the enemies here are skeletons and robots. They were probably in the episode on the show, but I don't remember watching it. By the way, before I forget, there are some bottomless pits in some stages. They expect you to jump over the pits to continue in the stages, which is understandable. But that isn't the stupidest part. I mean, it's kind of stupid because they put them in there and there's really no reason to put them in there, but the stupidest thing is when the enemy AI moves towards the pit, and in order to progress, you must defeat all enemies. Damn it, Bulma Saga, stay away from me! So sometimes when you give chase to them, you accidentally fall into said pit and lose a life. Now it isn't a big deal losing a life, but it's just annoying falling into the pits. If you die, you get your health and signature move meters filled up, so that's a plus. However, you have 3 lives, well technically 4 because 0 counts as a life, thank goodness. But if you get a game over, the penalty is starting the stage over again from the beginning with 0 lives and full HP and a full signature move meter. Well, that happened to me because I went into the stage with 0 lives, so it's possible that you might end up with more depending on the amount of lives that you went into said stage with. The mini-boss here is Twinkle Toes himself, Heavy Traffic. These names. Why were they given these names? He is actually the toughest one to fight out of the mini-bosses, of course, because he will do a walking kick motion out of your combo, which is dumb because it just means wasting more time to kill him. The boss of the stage is Cindy Slam, Now, I remember Cindy. She was a scary and violent wrestler, and I remember the three Mascaritas trying to find out why she was always mad. She usually talked in grunts, but they eventually had her talk in Season 3 more often, which is fine, but the grunts made her that more menacing. Anyways, same deal with her, just cheese the crap out of the punch and kick buttons to win. We have now unlocked the Torch of Truth! But I still do not have a clue as to how we can use it. Now we head back to the school in episode 4 to try our luck here, as we have found out that the Brutos, which can mean dumbasses, have been sighted nearing room 207 thanks to Mr. Midcarter. His name was taken from the wrestling term mid-carder, which refers to the wrestlers who perform between the undercard and the main event. It's just a little wrestling terminology for you. The enemies here are Reinhardt once again, El Gundamo yet again, and Tibor the Terrible. Tibor is a pirate-themed wrestler who wants to be a real-life pirate, #goals. We also have the 3 mini-bosses appearing in each stage. They either show up by themselves, all 3 together, or all 3 with added enemies. Since this is the last episode, they had to throw all of them at me at once in order to make the game more difficult. I wish they hadn't, but they did. And this is where your signature moves are needed the most, as these fights take longer, because they can keep whittling your health down little by little, especially Twinkle Toes. God, he's so annoying with these kicks. After all of that, it's time for the final battle against El Color de Kurtz. It's the same deal as before, except he has a jumping attack. Now that I think about it, I think Cindy also had an attack like that, and I think that the big blue crab thing had one too. But once again, just smash the punch and kick buttons to beat him, retrieve the code of mass wrestling that the Brutos stole for him so he can learn new wrestling moves. You almost got us expelled, and the game is over, and you never ever have to play this stupid game again. Oh, and you unlock the flea, but once again, I beat the game. Didn't want to keep playing, I didn't. So I don't know how he plays, but I assume it's the same as the other guys. Now for my thoughts on the game. I hated it. I went in a little apprehensive because this is a licensed game based off of a cartoon show, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Okay, actually it isn't the worst game I've seen or played, but it's still terrible. You only have 2 attacks, technically 4 if you count the jumping attacks, but I realized punching and kicking work much better. The hitboxes are funky. Try to hit some of the enemies and miss, which is annoying. The fact that all of the enemies are immune to one of your attacks is stupid, especially when there are multiple enemies around that are immune to the attack that you are using on another enemy, because they can stop you from hitting the one you were targeting. Minor complaint, but you move slow. There's a run button, but there's also no guard button either, which is not a minor complaint, and it also doesn't make any sense. The enemies can guard for days while you just continually take damage until you beat them. Now you unlock the Mascaritas' other signature moves, but you have no way of knowing how to equip them and use them. You have to unlock Wet a Girl and the Flea throughout the story, which I think is dumb. You should be able to use all of them from the start instead of going through multiple missions to unlock them. They aren't secret characters, they are the 3 main characters in the series, the ones that have to find the code of mass wrestling. Why would you even need to unlock them? There's no time indicator in the stages, you just have to play through the stages as fast as you can, or else you'll fail, you have to start it all over again. The pits and the traps aren't too bad, you just have to pay attention to the placement of them. However, that itself brings up with a plate. It's hard to judge how close you are to the spikes on the ground, because it may look like you're away from them, but then you start to take damage. At least you have some invincibility frames, so that's a plus. No knockback either, another plus. Overall, this game is just downright bad. It feels too much like Dragon Ball Z Sagas to me at times. It isn't as long. I finished in like 2 hours, with breaks included, which is probably around 1 hour and 30 minutes or so without breaks, but it's still just as bad. I seriously don't think anyone should give this game the time of day, but if you want to, go right ahead. Experience the frustration I had while playing this godforsaken game. And who knows, maybe you'll actually enjoy it. Then you can tell me how dumb I am in the comments below.
Please come join us, won't you, this weekend for a great,
Really great.
day of Christmas cheer. Batman will be there, plus Superman, Men in Black, and of course, Animaniacs. And we must not forget Sylvester and 3D and our friends Pinky and the Brain.
Yes.
Tons of Christmas all this weekend on Kids Double.